Mm. Good evening or good morning, wherever you may be. Welcome to the Bubba and Johnny Warrior Show. I'm Bubba.
I'm Johnny Warrior, and this is Conspiracy Friday. Today's topic is actually going to be the New Jersey Devil. Yes. Now, there's actually a method to our madness, guys. Right, Bubba?
Yes, there is.
What we're trying to do is we are going to do a setup now over the next month and a half, going up to a big event show that we want to do on Halloween for you guys. So what you're going to see is we're going to talk more about these conspiracies relative to folklore, regional folklore, both in the U.S. and here in the Philippines. We got a plan for something that might be interesting that we'll do on this channel with a live cast or a video, whichever I can do. And this year, Bubba won't be able to do it, but we're hoping next year Bubba will actually be able to attend that event. But I'm telling you guys, it's going to be great. So we're doing the New Jersey Devil today. So, Bubba, do you know exactly what the New Jersey Devil is?
Well, there's reports that it looks like a dog, has a head of the horse, the face of a dog. It's very confusing. A reptilian tail, bat wings. So
yes,
it just depends, I guess, on what artist rendition you want to go by.
Well, commonly it's described as kangaroo-like with a goat head, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it is seen predominantly in a region called Pines Barren in southern New Jersey, and it's hooved on the foot. It's bipedal, meaning it walks upright. Hooved foots. It's got clawed little, like, Tyrannosaurus Rex, little hands, rah, 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 like that. And it's got goat head and leathery bat wings, is how it's commonly described. Now, it's funny, in today's folklore, we don't really tie into anything. A lot of people really kind of write this thing off quick. And I want to give you guys an example about a sighting. Bubba, have you ever seen the TV show Paranormal State?
I have seen it a few times, yes.
Okay, Paranormal State is a bunch of college kids that are studying psychology, and it's a parapsychology club with Penn State. And they go out and do these investigations. Well, they investigated the New Jersey Devil, and they had gotten some interesting footage of something. Now, it's not detailed. They were using night optic camera lenses that were affordable for them through the photography department, filming department at the college. So it was mid-level stuff. And they came up with some pretty good footage of something that's loosely, shadowy describes this, what we're talking about. All right. And when the lights hit the eyes, it was not glowing back. It was glowing back. You know how they're green in a coyote or a wolf?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the glow that got back. All right. Not the red that you would think. Now, there's a little bit of a history to this, guys, and it actually goes all the way back to like the early 1730s. All right, when the Quakers are in the area, and the monarch was still established, and the Quakers were very anti-monarch, very and that their religious sect was, they pretty much forbade anything that wasn't biblical of origin.
Well, there was theocracy.
Yeah. Now, there is a family called the Lead. Okay, Lead family, L-E-E-D, and yes, the Leads. And this particular, that might sound familiar from a geological or geographical point called Leeds Point, which is in Pines Barren Forest in that region. Okay. Now, that's the homestead of the original Leeds family. And the way the folklore goes is that the New Jersey Devil is actually the 13th child of Mother Lead. Okay. This is a real person named Dorothy Lead. She had 12 children and found out she was pregnant. And this is how the story goes. So she cursed her unborn child, you know, because obviously it wasn't a planned pregnancy. They were struggling. The Lead family was a printer of an almanac, and, you know, things were getting tight, and then blam. So what happened was everybody was there during the birthing, and the child came out normal, but then turned into this devil and killed the midwife and escaped through the chimney. Okay. And that's where the origin of the New Jersey, or Leeds Devil, is what they call it. Leeds Devil. Some variations of the story is that Lead herself was a witch and the father was satanic. You know, there was a whole bunch of things. But the reality was that the Lead family was actually Quaker. And then they started kind of opening their mind up a little bit to some of the other aspects of demonology, angelology, you know, celestial, that cosmetology, where they start doing the whatever. So it wasn't Satanism or anything like that, but it was, he became a heretic labeled a heretic by the Quakers, and they went to the Anglican Church and started basically being a snitch to the monarch, the crown-appointed governor of the region, against the Quakers. So the Quakers saw him as a traitor, and they, you know, they had that kind of conflict. Now, here's a really freaking odd note about this. Okay, this is so in depth that the Lead family, this guy, Titan Lead, I think is his name. Hold on, let me make sure. Let me get that. I believe it's Titan Lead. The son of Daniel Leeds, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Daniel Leeds had this almanac, and you know who was his direct competition on the almanac that he was printing?
Ben Franklin.
You got it. Ben Franklin. Now, the son, Titan Leeds, inherited the Farmer's Almanac and was really kind of, he was the big competitor on Benjamin Franklin for his popular Poor Richard's Almanac, where today's almanac is actually credited, the Farmer's Almanac's credited for. And there was this tit for tat between the two of them, you know, making fun of each other in their almanacs and stuff. So it's kind of interesting how there's this almost, you know, pre-revolutionary forefather tie with this particular story, the origins of the story, the family of the story, and, you know, one of our forefathers. That's interesting. That's pretty cool. Or not?
Cool. Yeah, it's cool.
Okay. All right. So here we go into modern, you know, of course, here we are moving forward in the sightings and the history. And you'll notice that there's this ebb and tide. For some reason, there's an ebb and tide on the fall and rise of the sightings of this New Jersey devil creature. And in the last, I want to say, decade, it's become an extremely popular folklore again. Relative, I mean, it was so popular for a long time that the New Jersey, like you stated earlier in one of our conversations, the New Jersey Devils hockey team was actually named after the darn thing. So at one time, its popularity was huge, you know. But back in the 40s, 30s, and 40s, remember Mothman?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's another one.
Good movie.
Well, there's a folklore Mothman.
Yes, read it.
Okay. And but during that era, at the same time, that's at the peak and pinnacle of popularity of both the New Jersey Devil and Mothman were simultaneous in that time. And there was the UFO conspiracies and all that other stuff were huge too. So that is the history of the New Jersey Devil.
You mind if I add something to the history?
Please do.
Who was the most famous person to reportedly see the New Jersey Devil?
Oh, I'm not on a game show, so you're going to have to tell me.
That would be Joseph Bonaparte, the brother of Napoleon. When he was deposed as the King of Spain due to the Duke of Wellington's Peninsular Campaign back in the early 1800s, Joseph had to abdicate his throne in 1813, and he came into exile in America. And he purchased 800 acres at Bordentown, New Jersey. A rather humble spread, wouldn't you say? And he bought it because it was between the seaports of New York and Philadelphia. And of course, he built himself a lovely mansion with nice landscape grounds and plenty of room to roam. And he entertained a lot of great men of his day, including John Adams, who I wasn't impressed with as a president. Not that I was around, but Lafayette and Daniel Webster. Had a good social life with marvelous parties and mountains of food, and a lot of the Americans were impressed with him. Well, one snowy afternoon, it's kind of funny because I notice in a lot of the stories there's always snow related to it, which is odd. But he was hunting alone in the woods when he spotted some strange tracks on the ground, and they looked like the tracks of a two-footed donkey. And he noticed that one foot was slightly larger than the other, and then the tracks just ended, like it had just flown away or disappeared. And of course, he was trying to figure out what kind of animal it might be. And then he heard a strange hissing sound, and turning around, he found himself face to face with a large winged creature with a horse-like head and bird-like legs. Needless to say, he was frightened, so he froze and stared at it, forgetting that he was carrying a rifle. And for a moment, neither of them moved. And then the creature hissed at him, beat its wings, and flew away. And then he told a friend later that day, and he was told that he had just seen the famous Jersey Devil. And he was pretty impressed by the story of it, and thereafter kept a lookout for it whenever he went hunting. So, but he never saw it again after that. Pretty interesting. So it's kind of funny. Napoleon actually has a link to America indirectly.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, this thing's been around. This thing, yeah, the folk.
35.
Yeah. Well, some of it goes all the way back to, like, I know they have one piece of documentation seeing that the birth of the child was 1733. Right, the 13th child, if you go there. So, I mean that's the birth of the
Jersey
sorry.
Devil.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man.
I'm sorry.
I'm sitting here, right? I'm sitting here, looking out the window, and I'm watching my sister-in-law, who is kind of one of those snooty, right? Has gotten kind of, cultured and used to using washing machines. She's now been relegated to hand washing laundry, and she's
not happy.
She's giving me the stink eye because I'm actually talking about it right now. So
the evil eye. Anybody who's been married knows it well.
Yeah.
Or in a relationship with a woman.
Yeah. So you know, this thing, these are the type of things that are interesting. And the fact when we're talking about this what do they call it? Crypto, not crypto psychology, but crypto biology, these crypto biological, you know, Mothman, the swamp lizard, New Jersey devil. Notice that I'm avoiding one. Okay. You know, there's always all these direct line lineage stories that seem to hold on, and that's why, whether you believe it or not, there has to be a line of pondering, because if it's just an absolute made-up story, right, they fizzle out in a generation or something. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh. This one hasn't, and let's keep in mind, sorry to interrupt you, let's keep in mind, too, that New Jersey, area-wise, is the 46th largest state. So it's really a small state. But when it comes to population density, it is the most heavily populated state in the U.S. by population density.
Mm-hmm.
So, which I think is a reason why there's been so many sightings of it.
Well, yeah, and you know, you got to kind of sit there and ponder the reality of, all right, a tale is a tale is a tale, but when it can sit there and it can stay established as long as it has, with as many, you know, sightings that has occurred. All right, is it a hooven, goat, kangaroo, bat-winged freak? I don't know. But is there something there that people are seeing and are being convinced of what they're seeing? Oh, hell yeah. Something's up. Something's going on. I totally believe that they're seeing something, and they're trying to explain it the best that they can. There is an explanation. I'm positive, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the explanation is not, you know, a New Jersey devil or something we're not willing to accept at the moment until that there's proof. You know, that's something that scientists crack me up. Well, there's got to be a logical explanation, or there's always an explanation. Of course there's an explanation. It's just probably not the explanation that you want to hear. You know?
Yeah.
It's outside of the realm of your experience. So you don't want to you want to try to use logic. And what is logic based on? Personal experience.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have limited experience, you have limited logic. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, and also, too, it had a bunch of incidents during the week of January 16th through January 23rd, 1909. And there were reports early in the week emerging that strange tracks were being found in the snow, and that the mysterious footprints went over and under fences, through fields and backyards, and across the rooftops of houses. And they were even reported in the cities of Camden and Philadelphia. And panic began to spread, and posses formed in quite a few towns. And it was funny because bloodhounds even refused to follow the trail in Hamilton, New Jersey, and schools closed or suffered low attendance throughout lower New Jersey and in Philadelphia. And the mills that were quite numerous throughout the area were forced to close because a lot of the workers refused to leave their homes and travel through the woods to get to their jobs.
Yeah.
And they spotted it in Camden, New Jersey, Bristol, Pennsylvania, and in both cities, police fired on it and did not manage to bring it down. Then a few days later, it reappeared in Camden and attacked a late night meeting of a social club and then flew away. And earlier in the day, it appeared in Haddon Heights, terrorizing a trolley car full of passengers before flying away. And witnesses claimed that it looked like a large flying kangaroo. Another trolley car full of people saw it in Burlington, New Jersey, when it scurried across the tracks in front of the car. And in West Collingswood, it appeared on the roof of a house and was described as an ostrich-like creature. Firemen turned their hose upon it, but it attacked them and then flew away. In the entire week, people reported that their livestock, particularly their chickens, were being slaughtered. So, and then a local woman found it attempting to eat her dog, and she hit it with a broomstick and it flew away. So, and this was over an 8-day period. And that's a lot of witnesses. You know, so it's not just like an isolated one-person incident. It was crowds of people all saw it at once and witnessed the same thing.
You know, there is a lot of are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm buffering. Sorry.
That's awesome.
Sir Liner's asking you if you were reading that from Wikipedia.
Nope. Weird, New Jersey.
Are you there?
You there? Yep, I hear you. Well, I hear you in the background noise anyway.
All right, guys. Can you... What's that?
I said, I hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, Sir Liner was asking if you were reading that from Wikipedia.
No, and I said Weird, New Jersey. Actually, I read it through a couple sources, but Weird, New Jersey was just where I was taking that from. But I usually use about 4 or 5 websites or more because I like to generally have it confirmed through, you know, different websites. I wonder if it eats hobos.
Yeah.
So, okay. I like what Dick Insider said. Can't be a goat or blank would be trying to
Yeah,
date
or the
it.
Afghanis be trying to date it. Yeah. So, are you having the internet problems or am I?
I don't know. It's just going in and out, but
All right,
it's only
Bobby
going
K.
out for a
So you're
second
saying
or
you hear
two.
both of us. All right. All right. So, I mean, here's also interesting about the explanations of the New Jersey Devil versus, let's say, Bigfoot. All right. And I hate talking about Bigfoot, but in a lot of times when people are talking about Bigfoot or a behavioral trait that occurs in like black and brown that cause them to walk predominantly. So they say that, you know, some of what Bigfoot is can be explained by upright walking. Every time
Every time. Hello.
Bubba, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay.
Okay. So, I find it very interesting the fact that it's funny that a professional hockey team has taken its name from a what do you want to call it, urban myth or legend or whatever. I think it's pretty interesting. I think it's kind of funny. which says to me, and so many people witnessed it, that there's a lot more to it than just some kind of legend. Yeah, you're cutting out, Johnny. Can you guys hear me okay? I think your connection. Yes. Okay, Johnny apparently got kicked off. So he will be rejoining us in a moment, hopefully. Okay. Anyway, what do you guys think? We're kind of going to do this. I'm not sure what we're going to do next week, but Johnny and I will talk about it. Yeah, he just moved, so it's a matter of finding, I guess, a good spot of where to put it, his Wi-Fi or whatever, or find a good spot in the house. Yes, a voice for silent movies. Excellent. But anyway, there's been a lot of witnesses and a lot of sightings, and they always see hoof prints. And evidently it's a pretty good sized beast, whatever it is. And there was I watched a couple documentaries on it as well. And one of the documentaries, it was a mother and her son. It was like Christmas time, around Christmas time. This is back in, I think, the early 80s. And what they did was they were outside because they saw there was an issue with the lights, and they went to click them back on, and they heard like a whooshing of wings flying over them, and they heard it land on the roof, or it started chasing them. They started running towards their house, and then they heard thumping on the roof and heard it running across the roof. Well, needless to say, they had the front door shut and were terrified. But then in the morning, they went out and they inspected it, and the husband saw these hoof prints that were spaced like 4 or 5 feet apart. So evidently, it took pretty good sized strides, and he took pictures of it. So they actually had pictures again in the snow of these hoof prints, and he took it to I guess, the New Jersey Department of Wildlife or whatever, and had a person there look at the pictures, and they even went out to the house and looked at them that day, and they couldn't explain what it was. So there's been a whole lot of sightings of it. And also too, it should be noted that a lot of times they hear these terrifying screams coming from the ponds, and they said it's a scream that can't really be explained, and that it sounds otherworldly, like it's from the pits of hell or whatever. So I think there's a lot more to this, and really, I think it's more of to me, it qualifies as more than a legend because so many people witnessed it over the centuries, including, like I said, Napoleon's brother Joseph, who I know, of course, people were far more superstitious back then, but there's been too many credible witnesses who have seen it, and large groups of people that it has shown itself to the point to where I think it's more than a legend. What it is exactly, who knows? But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, guys. We appreciate you listening, Johnny and I both. And I'm not sure That would be cool. Dick Insider, you back?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay.
Yeah, see, Dick Insider, we're actually going to hit these topics as we progress closer through October. You know, when I'm going back to Oklahoma, I want us to do a couple things related to what's going on there, Bubba. And then, you know, we're going to talk about ghosts, the white ladies. We're going to talk about aswangs. We're going to talk about the whole works working up. And we're going to do one of two things. Should we tell them what we're going to do, or should we just surprise them with it?
It's up to you. We can wait a little bit and then bring it on.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll wait a little bit, but I'm telling you, you guys will like it. It'll be fun. It'll be something different, at least. So, for those of you that are here in Halloween or so boring here in the Philippines, it'll be fun.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have to figure out what we'll talk about next week.
Well, let's talk about like aswangs next week. Let's bring it back to the Philippines, and then we'll go back to the States. You know, let's bump it back and forth.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So.
That sounds good. I look forward to it. Yeah, but it'll be interesting to see what else we could come up with as well, leading up to Halloween.
What would it be great is if there was a way we could take the format and put a slideshow on Hangouts, Google Hangouts, and put actual footage, photos, you know, that it's kind of rolling as we're talking about it. You know what I mean? That would have been great now, because for us talking about something that is so steeped in folklore, right? But not being able to show what visual evidence there is really kind of leaves this big gap in the conversation. So I think between now and next Friday, that's something that we need to commit to the audiences. We're going to figure out a way how we can visually display some of the materials that we're coming up with, right? And showing you what we can, you know, what our research is coming up with. What do you think?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. So that's Bubba's commitment to you. Bubba is committed to giving you guys a technical slideshow of what the topic is that we're talking about.
Yeah, that's going to be tough because I'll have to figure out how to do that, but maybe I could hook up with Dave or something. He may or may not know how to do that. I don't know.
Well, I know the way you know, Ned does that on his, but see, he's not using Hangout. He uses the same thing that I do when that I use. It's called CBS Studio or QBS Studio, and what that does is it puts you into a studio format to where you can, before you get online to do the show, you can upload slides and stuff like that. The problem with using that is, right, on QBS Studio, you can't do call-ins.
Okay.
Now, Dave just came up with XSplit. So get with Dave, and Dave will be able, you know, you know what, Bobby K, here in the Philippines, right, down at Clark Air Force Base, the old Air Force Hospital on Clark, is considered to be one of the most haunted places in the Philippines. And you can get a permit, a night use permit on there to go do ghost hunting, you know, go do any type of paranormal research that you can do. But I would not do it alone. I would do it with somebody who knows what's going on, as far as, you know, because you don't exactly know what you're coming into. Whether or not you believe it, you have to admit that there's some realm of possibility there, because there's things, an anomaly, whatever it may be. and having somebody that is more of an expert in the, you know, I used to do it amateur wise, okay, out of a curiosity. And, you know, I had heard incidences where people brought them home. You know, they latched and they would bring them home. And, you know, that's always the topic. Not that that's ever happened to me, because I'm just, you know, I think I'm pretty awesome. Nobody else thinks I'm awesome, but I think I'm pretty damn awesome. And
I think you're awesome too, brother.
well, thanks. Thanks, bro. That helps. So, you know, I'd like to actually do, maybe that's a video, Bubba, that you can help me coordinate, and I'll coordinate to go in with somebody and do a case study, and then we can put it up as a video through the week. And that may be another thing, just openly discussion, guys, on this channel. Okay, since this is all conspiracy and all, maybe videos.
Yes.
Are you there?
I am. Yes, we could do something like that. We started to lose you there for a minute, and then you came back. So that would definitely be cool. We could do, like, every so often try to do a little series video on stuff here in the Philippines.
Yeah, it'll be easier for us to do that. But I think that's stuff that we could do. We could actually do videos and post those in and out all over the place on a cycle or whatever. And it doesn't just have to be that. We could do it with our standard conspiracy stuff too, Bubba. You know what I mean? Like little mini documentaries, little 10, 15-minute documentaries. You put them up. I'll send you my stuff. You put them up. And that'll feed the in-between time and keep them at least live shows that we do on Fridays. You know, of the 2 live shows that we do, I love doing the lifestyles on Mondays. I do. But this is my favorite show. Doing this show with you is absolutely my favorite show, because the people who are listening to it understand it doesn't matter if it's real. It doesn't matter if it's not. You know, that's not the point. We're not trying to prove whether it's real or not real. We're trying to give the sides of the stories, and at times both sides of the stories, about these topics. And it's fun. It's entertainment. This is purely knowledge and entertainment. That's all it is. That's why I absolutely love this show. You know? So I think we should do some videos and see how that goes.
I'm all for it, man. That would be awesome. So, yeah, definitely.
Bobby K, he actually was down there with Steve Montelli, Philly, and Brian from Philly in the Philippines. They never went in. They never went into the hospital. They just walked around it, because that's where they found out that you needed to ask for a permit in order that you can go in there. You just need to have a permit in order to go in there. Of course, in the Philippines, you have access to anything as long as you got enough money. You know,
you do.
Well, you know, Corregidor itself is haunted.
Yeah. Now, I wonder if they still have if it's all built up, or if they have the area where they had a prison camp.
On Corregidor?
Yeah.
Corregidor's a national park, bro.
Okay. Kind of wonder if there's something around there. It would be interesting.
Yeah,
but
maybe that's another one.
Yeah,
you need to move to Baguio, dude. That's what you need to do.
Or at least up in that area anyway. Somewhere. But
yeah.
Now when they did the death march, where did they march them to exactly?
What, the Bataan Death March?
Yeah, now where did they march them to?
You know, that's a good question. I can't remember, dude.
There has to be a prison camp or somewhere. I mean, they had to march them somewhere like that. So it would be cool to find out the area, if it's super developed or if it's kind of isolated, and go there and shoot video of it, camp out or something.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, it'd be interesting, because generally speaking, that would meet all the criteria for a haunted place. You know, pain, suffering, and agony.
Okay, Bobby's right. I remember now. He's right. They marched them from the prison, right?
Mm-hmm.
Back up into that whole thing was actually to a cover to kill them off. Is basically what it was.
Yeah.
Because if you remember, there was a prison ship. There was actually a prison ship off the coast that they just, for a very long time, held Filipino and American prisoners, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that ship got sunk, and there was about 32 survivors, and they ended up putting them in that camp that Bobby K was just talking about. They ended up going on the Bataan Death March. The 32 survivors from that prison ship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I can't avoid this, man. All right, guys. There's a new what is it? Channel out. It's called How to Spot an Idiot. All right. This is going to be a new channel that is going to be focused on, you know, the fact-finding aspects of spotting idiots and calling them exactly as you see them. And recently, the Mangina has come out with a series of BS videos, and in that video, one of the topics that we're talking about, the Philippine-American relationships, and there was 2 points that was made that I have to address right now, even though this is a small crowd. Number one, Philippine and American relationships were the best that they ever been, period. Post-World War II, come on, guys. I mean, don't tell me you cannot buy into the fact, and I don't know where he's getting his data. I don't know where he's getting his stuff. He's just, actually, he's not getting it. He's just sitting there playing his tallywhacker and freaking throwing shit on the wherever. The second thing is he talked about how Aquino closed the American bases all because of sexual misconduct. No. It had to do with, misconduct. Had everything to do with the fact that they got greedy, wanted more on contracts. The U.S. said, no, that's not what we originally agreed. And the Aquino administration said, okay, well, pack your bags and go. All right. So it had absolutely nothing. Was sexual misconduct a problem in the small percentage of service members that were being producing misconduct? Yes, it was there. But was it prominent, evident? Was it at an epidemic rate? No, guys. No. Men and women generally conduct themselves abroad. Philippines was not the only military installation that we had abroad. Do we have dirtbags that serve in uniform? Yes.
Of course.
You know, but there's bigger dirtbags that claim that they served in the uniform and want to spew rhetoric. You know, and see in the last couple of videos, there you go. He went again trying to claim that, well, they don't know if I served in the military or not. They can't. Yeah, we do know that he did not serve in the military. Point blank. We know it for a fact. He didn't.
He didn't even serve in the Cub Scouts, for crying out loud. So he's just pulls crap from his rear end. His headquarters is where his hindquarters ought to be.
Yeah. I'm getting really, really tired of his, you know, when people start pressing on him for being anti-veteran, he all of a sudden turns, he's like, whoa, I didn't know, and all this stuff. But then he turns around, what is he doing right now? He's pressing on the vets again. He's being extremely anti-veteran. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and here's the thing. He talks about being so patriotic. What has he ever done? He's never even been a taxpayer. All he's ever been is a derelict, a sponge, a leech, a shit stain on the underwear.
Dick Insider made a couple points here. and I'm gonna address this. He also Dickens claimed he also claimed that he was in Rwanda.
Yeah.
Rwanda happened in 1994, and it's called Operation Distant Runner. I got the medal. And I went there back. I had to go back there for a couple of accompanying associated operations, but it happened in 1994. That little prick was what? And he claimed he was in Rwanda? I don't think so. His exact words, and I was in Rwanda when all that stuff happened. No, he wasn't. He was not in Haiti. He wasn't in Joplin when he claimed in 2010 because he was here in the Philippines.
Yes, as a matter of fact, when that stuff in Rwanda happened, if I'm not mistaken, he was still in school when Rwanda happened. If I'm not, he was still in school.
Elementary school.
Yeah. I don't know if he graduated and got his diploma from elementary school though, judging by his use of English grammar. Oh God, I cringe every time I hear him speak. Butcher the language. You there?
Yeah, I'm losing you, dude. I'm gonna have to bow out at this point while I still have a little bit of connectivity.
No problem. I'll go ahead and we'll just go ahead and close the show now then. Not a problem.
All right, man. All right, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I appreciate it.
Yes, definitely, guys. We appreciate it. And Monday, we don't know what we're doing yet, but we'll do something. At the same time, well, we're going to actually start doing our Monday show at 9 p.m. Philippines time, 9:30, right after Quintong Baloo's show. So y'all could start out listening to Quinton Baloo and then move into listening to our show. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. And may the sun be shining wherever you may be. And as always, Johnny and I really appreciate y'all. And hope you have a great day wherever you may be. See ya.